I can explain. So, this is Goddess of Victory Nike, or Nike Goddess of Victory. I'm not really sure which one's the title and which one's a subtitle, or if it's all just meant to be one title. Henceforth, we shall just be referring to it as Nike. Now, you've probably seen ads for this game. If you've been on any kind of mobile game, or even just a mobile game with ads, or even just YouTube in general, you've probably seen ads for this game. My finding of it was innocent enough. I was actually playing another game called Dragon City, and I needed some gems. I don't know if you've ever seen the offer wall Tapjoy little offers where they'll give you free currency to play other games. I was like, hey, I need some gems, and thus I found Nike, fired it up, downloaded it from the Google Play Store, and much to my surprise, the ads are shockingly accurate. Even more to my surprise is that the ads are also not accurate, and I'm going to tell you why right here, right now, because this is actually going to be a little propaganda piece for this game. Nike is surprisingly good, and I'm not just talking about the character development. We're really going to be tiptoeing around that. But this game actually has, like, story and character design and, like, actually decent voiceover, and just is a really fun game. It also does have, of course, gacha mechanics and all that jazz, but it is surprisingly generous. So, the moment I started playing this game, I admittedly and embarrassingly got hooked pretty quick. And, not just for the obvious reasons to get hooked, although, when I saw this one particular character, Red Hood, no, yeah, admittedly, that certainly did not hurt. I do have her, basically maxed out at this point. I'll let you do the math on how that one happened, but it's fine. It's totally fine. It's fine. I've been playing for about a little over a month now. I started in the last week of the first anniversary event, and fortunately was not too tardy to the party, as I was able to go through the story. You can also kind of get a good idea of how long I've been playing based on my little level here. So, let's assume you know nothing about this game and you have only seen the ads. Like I said, the ads do a pretty serious disservice to the game, in my opinion, because it is character development and yet so much more. It is actually solid. So what is the gameplay like? The gameplay is basically a cover shooter, almost arcade style, where you have a team of Nikes, basically being your very sexy Terminators, that are fighting the robots, which are the dramatically less sexy Terminators. And we'll just do a fight here just to show you what the game looks like, because it's hard to describe how surprised I was that I was actually enjoying this game. Yeah. Now you will notice the character development is really something, but it is actually freaking fun, if I'm being totally honest. I do not like that setting where it just randomly changes characters, but that's fine, I can change that later. You can see it, like, even it has, like, the cool animations here when your characters are doing abilities. It is surprisingly enjoyable, and not just for the carnal reasons that probably attracted more than a few people to the game, and probably repelled just as many people, if we're being honest. Because let's be real here, that type of advertising can be quite the double-edged sword. You've got some people who will look at that, and I mean, you know, and just monkey brain go burr. Let's be real here. But then you've got just as many people who would look at that and write it off as a stupid fan service game, very much a la Envoy or Puzzles and Survivals. We've seen those games, and we know those ads are trash. This one though is actually decent, much to my actual surprise. Now, it ain't just gameplay that makes this game so dang fun. It also has a surprising amount of story, not just like a main campaign, but also individual character stories. You can actually talk to each individual character and rank up their social stat, their bond stat basically, which not only gives you extra little story bits, but will also grant you actual in-game currency, which all things considered is pretty generous. It certainly could be worse. Now, of course, this is a gacha game. And you might ask yourself, can this game actually monetarily keep up with the likes of its competition? Yeah. The answer is yes. You'll notice if this game is even in 1 month only losing to Genshin Impact, then you've got yourself a pretty decent winner. A lot of down bad Nikkei players, especially in the month of November. And I'm embarrassed to admit that I contributed to that just a little bit, even after a relatively short period of play. We all have vices in our lives.
Just a moment.
But every character has story. Now, not every character is the best. So you've got some of your meme characters that are just actual trash. But a lot of the characters are fantastic. Usually every 2 weeks to a month, they cycle through new events, they add in new characters, and they even have like seasonal events. We just had the Christmas event, which is where I got this character, and we currently have a New Year's event going on with some new characters. There's of course summer events and the like that you see in quite a few mobile games, but it is especially enjoyable in this game because every event, once again, brand new story, new character interactions, different characters actually talking to each other, talking to you, with very much comedy and occasionally heavy stuff, which actually really surprised me. Every now and then the game gets pretty decently heavy, which I actually do appreciate in storytelling, where there's certain topics that it will actually approach to a certain degree. In addition to just the combat and stuff, you do have things such as your outpost here, which is basically just a little building creator here that gives you different services in the game. You can see the little chibis running around, which I actually do really enjoy. I actually find the chibis quite charming. And it's just, it's hard to. It's a game that you wouldn't think people would take seriously, and yet it kind of deserves to be taken seriously because it is actually really freaking good. Like I said, it's admittedly a bit of a propaganda piece, but like even if you've missed, you don't have to worry too much about FOMO, because even if you've missed past events, they do eventually pop up here in the archives to at least see the story. And most characters, unlike games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, where a character will pop up for about 2 to 3 weeks and then disappear, all of the characters minus some seasonals do just end up in the regular gacha. Like this character, Red Hood, is pretty new, and yet in the gacha, take a look at the probabilities here, she is here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really gonna laugh at myself if she's not actually here. There she is. She's right there. So pretty freaking good, honestly. And the odds of getting one of these SSR characters, which is basically the highest rank, 4%, with 2% being basically the signature unit here. Sometimes it's just 1% if it's like a more rare character. I think Red Hood was 1%. But point is, the rates here actually aren't that bad, if I'm being honest. And of course, the game does have a pity system in the form of these mileage tickets. Now, when you're doing the event summons, you get gold mileage tickets, and when you're doing regular summons, you get these silver mileage tickets. Now, what do you do with those? If we go back to the lobby here, is you can go to the shop, and they actually have a pity shop here. With the gold mileage tickets, you can just straight up get a copy of one of the current event characters, or you can get extra copies of already existing characters with these silver mileage tickets. These aren't like new characters per se, you already have to have one copy, but these are new characters. So if you do your 2010 pulls and somehow don't get the character, which I feel like you probably will, but it could happen, you can use that on these characters. Now, let's say you're just more of a recreational summoner, who you just like to summon on characters, but you're not necessarily committed to it. Don't worry, the tickets carry over. Even if you're not actually committed to getting one of these characters, the tickets that you get from summoning will stick around and carry over to future banners. So let's say I got 200 tickets, but I didn't want Mika. I can wait till the next update and see if that's a character I want. So, a surprisingly useful little mechanic there. Now, how pay to win is this game? Is it pay to win? The answer, of course, is yes to is it pay to win, because, I mean, it's a mobile game. Let's not kid ourselves here. It's a mobile game with all the trappings that come with it. It does have all the paid packs, many of them not exactly being a great deal, but it has pretty much all the standard trappings. It, of course, does also have cosmetics you can purchase and just the straight up gem currency. But with proper planning and a little bit of luck, it's not actually that hard to do well in the game. You pick, be selective which characters you're going for as far as the event stuff goes. Kind of be strategic with how you're using your resources. And it's actually not too bad. You can progress pretty promptly. It does have some idle mechanics, like you do have your outpost defense here, where it will get you resources over time. And as you go through the game, you are able to get more of those resources. So it's an idle game to a degree, it's a gacha game to a degree, to a pretty healthy degree, but also just has really fun gameplay, which you only see from a few games such as Genshin Impact. So yeah, I think that's going to be enough of my little propaganda piece here. The game is surprisingly good, and I have every intention of playing it more, assuming YouTube doesn't Thanos snap it out of existence, of course. So yeah, and hey, if I've convinced a few of y'all to give the game a try, then have fun. I will be here. I do want to do more like actual guides for the game, but this is more so just a little cover sheet for the game, and we will dig deeper into it in the future. But that is all we have for today. We shall see you next time. Have a good one.